Welcome back to Momentous Struggle, a Star Wars Shatterpoint podcast. On this week's episode, Aubrey and I are going to have some more fun doing some list building stuff because we had so much fun last time building around the Spectres that I think we just are going to do it again, but this time with something other than Spectres. So, as always, I am joined by Aubrey. How are you doing today?
No, before I even answer that question, dear listeners, apparently I set Todd off a little too hard talking about Spectres. He's like, no, we got to talk about something I want to talk about. Okay.
Well, you wanted to do Spectres for 2 weeks in a row. I'm like, I don't know how many people are going to be like loving Spectres that much. I don't know. I'm sure someone will tell us in the Discord. They're like, no, you should have done Spectres again. And that's fine. That's fine. I don't know if I would want to. Yeah, I'm gonna pull an Aubrey line. It's fine.
Hey, that is my line. Thank you.
I know.
Anyway.
You're welcome.
All right. No, I'm doing good. It's the second day in my job, and I'm already running into bureaucratic red tape, which Todd's just gonna laugh at that when he hears this, because he's like, Aubrey, you work for the government, and I'm like, listen, at some point I expect any amount of efficiency. Like I've given up on 75, 65, 42, 13. I'm just looking for like not even 1%, 0.0000001% efficiency, and it's just not gonna happen.
Nope, it's sure not. It's sure not.
But my new library is really nice. Like it's very bright. The team seems pretty cool. Like so far I am not unhappy with my move. There's just little stuff that I'm learning that as an assistant branch manager, the powers that be would like me to focus on, that I don't think needs to be focused that hard on.
Well, I'm sorry. They want Aubrey to focus. Like that's right off the bat. They're gonna fail.
That's not what I do. I lead
Aubrey.
toddler. I lead toddlers around like I'm the Pied Piper around the library with music and fun and yeah, I don't know. I kind of lost the thread there. I don't actually know. What does the Pied Piper do with the rats after he leads them out of the village? Maybe I shouldn't think about that too closely. Never mind.
I mean, have you ever watched Demolition Man? No, it's an old action movie from the 80s, 90s, with Wesley Snipes. No, not Wesley Snipes. No, I think Wesley Snipes. Yeah, Wesley Snipes was in it. And it was what's his name? Rocky Balboa. He was when it. Anyway, like it's like a dystopian, like it's a futuristic time frame, and like everyone lives in this peaceful thing, but like there's a bunch of people that live down in the sewers, and like they make like food, and like they're always said, like there was a line where like, oh god, Sylvester Stallone's eating a hamburger, and he's like, this is the best thing ever, and like one of the people looks at him and goes, do you see any cows around here? There was plenty of rats, but there sure weren't any.
How are you doing, Todd? How are you doing? I think that's the new topic.
No, I'm doing great. I'm excited. I mean, I had fun this weekend. We got to record with Omnis and blow up Rogue Support for a week. That was kind of funny. So that was an interesting Momentous struggling the Rogue Support podcast for what it's worth. So yeah.
Yes. Listeners, if you haven't listened to the latest Rogue Support episode, stop this one. I don't even care. Stop listening to us and go over there and listen to us over there.
It was funny. I actually like listened to it on my walk today, and I was like laughing, and I was like re-laughing at some of the stuff that we were talking about and some of the stuff that like we did, because I don't know. I was there and I still found it funny again. So it was funny. It was an interesting episode.
In true Aubrey fashion, there was a couple of things that I apparently missed because there was just too many things going on in that episode. Because like I was also talking to the chat and like answering the questions and things there, because we had a couple of people watching live, and I was like, wait, when did Omnis say that? I'm like, that's what? So that's my reaction. I'm having fun listening to some of it for the first time, and I was there.
Yep. Well, I mean, I guess so. In case people don't listen to Rogue Support, we can kind of refresh like what we've been up to. And I know you have been so busy with your job change and life in general, with like December's like a gauntlet of birthdays and holidays and stuff for you. So what have you been doing other than the 3D printing that is the fiasco that we live in right now?
Oh my word! No, we still have to talk about the 3D printing because I have a part. I'm pretty sure as we are speaking and recording this episode, the part has arrived at my doorstep, and I'm gonna be able to fix the Bamboo Lab printer. It's an easy fix. The hardest part is there's one wire that has to go into a very particular point, and I'm a little nervous because like that's the part that broke, which precipitated this. But I'm gonna get that fixed, and then all the printers will be up and running. I mean, they're all running around me now. I feel like I'm a little surrounded, Todd. It's like those what are they? Weeping angels from Doctor Who. Every time I blink, another 3D printer is in this room, and eventually I'm gonna be surrounded, and it's not gonna end well for me. I might be dreaming of the sound of 3D printers moving back and forth and back and forth.
That sounds weird.
Uh, hey, you know what? If Rogue Support can do an ASMR podcast, so can we. It's just my sounds will be 3D printers. That's all. That's all.
I don't think people will enjoy that. I just
Oh,
don't.
come on, come on. What about you, Todd? Did you had something going on? Huh? Huh?
Yeah, I mean, the nice thing was I was able to get quite a few games in. I played Chris's brother Justin, him and I played a game on our normal Wednesday meetup that we have over at Gamers Guild. So I was able to meet up with him, and he played all Mandos, and I was at the time still trying to figure out like what list I like, who I wanted to pair my Bad Batch, like my with Hunter in the Bad Batch with. So I think that game I was playing it with Obi. And yeah, like I said, like I had mentioned on the other podcast, I just don't Obi didn't feel good to me. I mean, that's just me. I get the synergies that he brings and everything, but he didn't feel that great. So then we went into the regular the tournament that we had at Gamers Guild on Saturday, and I played that and ended up running the mall with Hunter and the Bad Batch, and man, that felt like so much better. Like I think that's just mall's more my play style, and be able to do the mall things that you can do without having to spend force is always great. So that was it. So I ended up playing that. That was it was Hunter with Wrecker and Techo, and then Maul with Crosshair and the Bounty Hunters. And so that was that squad. And I played that twice. And then I played just the Moth box and the Iden box as my other one. And I played that one time. Went 2-1, of course, losing to Matt Booker because he's kind of good and everything like that. So yeah, but it was a fun thing. I mean, I had a really good game against Matt for sure. We went to 3 struggles, but it just there is like the normal thing that you think about, like what you always complain about, where the struggle just never moves, or the priority point never moves. It's like there was a lot of that going on during our game. But no, overall, I mean, I had a great time playing. We had 8 players that came out, so it was a solid, event for, especially for December, because December events, November and December events in Arizona just never really seem to fire with a lot of players, simply because of just the volume of holidays and things that are going on. So, but no, overall, I mean, had a lot of fun games. Played a lot of fun games, and I really enjoyed getting out and playing with the community and everything like that. Of course, the Raider brothers, Jake and Nick, were out, and Nick killed it and ended up going 3-0 at the event, and I mean, he did played fantastically as always. So, no, it was fun. It was a good time.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, Todd. Can you say that one more time? Your opponent was a good player, right? I just want to
Yeah, I mean,
make
yeah,
sure that's the
I
official Momentous struggle statement. Your final
well, that's
opponent.
my official statement is that Matt Booker is. I think he's a great player personally. Now, other people on this podcast may not feel that way. I don't know who else that would be. They think he's okay, not that good. Just
I can't escape it.
No, you're
Between
not
this
going
and the
to.
rage between this and the Rage 3, we're gonna have to get a shirt made, but it's like just gonna be a picture of Matt's face, and I'm gonna have to put on
Just
it.
okay.
Oh my god, no. I have to put on it. He's what I actually said which was that he was a good player. Uh
He's
God.
just okay.
Ah, terrible, terrible. And then the Rage 3 thing, that's never gonna live that down.
Nope.
Never
Well,
ever.
Dan's never gonna let you live that down. She was like, she was always gonna bring that up no matter what. I mean, it's like he might just show up at your funeral and be like, "Is that at range 3?" So
My coffin is getting deployed at range 3.
right, right.
I'll just tell you that. I'll just tell you that right now.
Instead of putting the flower on the casket, he's gonna put a range 3 ruler on the casket.
Oh my god. So I can be let down one more time by Rebel Commandos. Oh wait, not by them, by me. Rebel Commandos got let down by me.
There you go. We'll put them in the fire and just say, okay, send them off the right way.
All right. All right. It's fine. It's fine. We're all fine here now.
Yeah, we're
Thanks.
good. We're good. So basically, I guess like what I kind of want, I had so much fun building the with building the specters and kind of doing that little exercise that we did. I thought it'd be kind of fun to do it with scoundrels instead. Especially because there's a lot of different ways that you can go with that, because there's a lot of people that have the scoundrel tag. Now there's not a lot of big scoundrel payoffs, so to speak, but there's some. I mean, there's a couple that have it, but you can build within those synergies quite a bit of stuff. So I think I was looking at it and thinking, well, you know what, which way could we go with that? So I know you don't play a lot of scoundrels, and I think that's okay for what we're doing. I mean, because we're kind of just looking at what all the different options are. And I mean, looking at it, if you just were to like say go into like Shatterpoint DB and look at all of the primaries and just filter everything by scoundrels, there's like what I'm looking at it right now. There's one, two, I want to say 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 primaries that have the scoundrel tags. You have the Mandalorian, you have General Solo, you have Kanan Jarrus, you have Lando Calrissian, Cad Bane, Moff Gideon, Hondo. You have clones. You have Hunter. You also have, who else are we missing here? Oh, you have the armor, and then last but not least, you do have Lord Maul. So there's a lot of different ways you can go that way. I think the one thing I would say is like if you were to go with one of the Mandalorians, that kind of like brings you just into like you're just going to make a Mandalorian list, because almost all the Mandalorians have um that tag. So I think it's you're really not building a scoundrels list if you go that way, but of course you definitely could, but then you're just building an oops all Mandos almost.
Wait, I don't I don't think the Mandalorian supports and
Not in the not in the core box ones, but I know
the newer, that's right, the
the
newer
new
ones.
box
The
does.
newer ones do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
coverts and Paz and armor all have scoundrel, but not the core box ones. So I mean, yeah, you're not going
Yeah,
to make
no,
it
that's
all
boring.
Mandos.
That's boring. Nah, 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 nah. We're not doing that, Todd. Come on. Hey, everybody! Episode over. Build oops all Mandos. Done.
Right.
Phone it on. No, 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 no. We can do better than that. We could do better.
I think
Um.
so.
Also, hang on. You say I never play Scoundrels. Excuse me. Which primary was on that list? Our
Okay.
friend from last week. I never play Scoundrels.
You play specters,
Mm,
not Kate. That is a specters list. So you can
I
fine.
have
You play scoundrels,
I
but
have a minimum 3 Scoundrels in that list. Like, come on, Callus, Ezra, Caden. I play Scoundrels. I play
you
Scoundrels.
do.
Plus,
Fair
plus,
enough.
I followed you down the rabbit hole. I've played a ton of bounty hunters. I am still with you, Todd. I still think the bounty hunters are gonna stay being relevant as a fill in your list. Like when you're
Yeah.
not quite sure what to bring. Like I like those kind of mid-range pieces. Like are the bounty hunters the best at any particular thing? No, but they're also never the worst at any particular thing. Like come on, we need stuff like that.
Yeah, they just have like the tools of the trade and on the trailer like always make them good, and I'm sure we'll talk about them when we get into the Scoundrels a little bit more. So looking at all of this, like I said, I think we're already like checking off. No, we're not going to take any Mandalorians. We're probably not going to take Kanan. I'm interested in taking a look at Lando just because he's a newer piece. And I'm trying to reach out to Accuser out there because I know he's right now all about Lando Calrissian. So if Accuser is listening, I think I'm thinking we should build around Lando.
Oh no! When you were saying there wasn't a lot of like scoundrel synergies, I had to keep my mouth shut because I'm like, wait a minute, what about Lando
Lando does, yep.
and your favorite character? Jumping ahead to the secondaries, who does Lando bring with him in his box, Todd?
Oh, you mean that wonderful person? What's his name? I always forget his name. It's Lobert, Lambert, Lamborghini, something like
I
that.
I would like to remind you who saved Princess Leia and Chewbacca and C-3PO and Lando from the stormtroopers on Cloud City. Who did that?
Lando Calrissian.
He was being rescued. He was being rescued. It was Lobot. Lobot saved the rebellion. Come on. Come on. But anyway, back up. Yes, I definitely think if you were gonna do Scoundrels, Lando is the thing to do because of course he has that cool ability. His what is it? His on activation. Yeah.
Yeah.
He has that thing where he can choose any non-wounded scoundrel, which by the way, everyone does not say allied. It says any non-wounded scoundrel, which means things get weird. They get a dash, and then the unit you choose gains all the conditions that Lando has at the time. Which right, I got that right.
No,
Yeah,
then this unit may remove all of the conditions from itself. If it does, the chosen unit may remove gains each removed condition. So like you want
right.
Lando to have conditions so that you can give them conditions, which
Yeah,
is
yeah,
it
yeah.
would be
Oh,
interesting. It's
I
like
guess I said it weird, but yeah, that.
yeah, so it's interesting. So it's like you want Lando to be pinned so that you can move their piece and then pin their piece. Like that would be that's kind of like the dream anyway.
Right. But I mean, bottom line is he has a global dash or well, not
It's
global,
range
isn't it?
4, yeah.
Within it's range 4. Well, but he has a decent like he can give your side a dash or he can do some weird shenanigans. But bottom line, he cares about scoundrels, and then he also has that cool he can
Identity.
give yeah his identity he can give tags out to other scoundrels, which gives you all kinds of weird things. I don't know how much we're going to use this in like a scoundrel focus list, but it gives you something. Like
A little bit of
there's
something.
some stuff here.
Yeah. And I do like as I said, I think I said this in it was probably in the chat when I at one of the Rogue Supports chats. I think there is a place for Orlando. I just don't think we've discovered it quite yet. Um, but by the time we get to LVO, I mean, we still have a little over a month before we get to LVO. And I think that someone by that point in time is going to be able to put in the reps and kind of uncover what they want to do with Lando. And I'm like, I am not that smart of a person to sit there and be like big brain it, but I'm almost positive there's something out there.
Oh yes, no. I like I said when Lando first came out, and I repeated because I haven't even had time to really play any games for a little bit here. I'm gonna have to try and find. I don't know. Well, in any event, I'm waiting for somebody else to break Lando because I think Lando is broken if you can unlock how to do it, and I'm too smooth brain for that. We'll let somebody else do it.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, who are you looking at pairing with Lando? I mean, there is General Solo. Maybe you could go Moff Gideon, who's definitely an amazing piece. Hondo's an interesting option as well. You could go with Hondo. There's and then I mean the easy answer for me is because he kind of fits all the time is Maul. But again, I don't know if that's gonna like be the fun way to go with that. I mean, I don't know. What are you thinking? I mean, also Cad Bane. I mean, if you wanted to sit there and have some interesting Force refresh stuff, but I don't know if he's going to play into. I don't think this is going to be a killy list. I don't like to where you're going to get like a lot of the Cad Bane synergies going off.
So my problem with Hondo is that 7 points, because
Hmm.
we don't have a ton of options in the Scoundrel realm unless you're willing to bring like Grief Karga, and like he doesn't even like, he cares about bounty hunters. He's only here as a scoundrel for the sake of being a scoundrel, so you're not going to do that. And then like if we're bringing Lando, you can't really bring Bartu because that slot's already taken up. So
Yep.
I'm just in terms of like list building, I don't particularly like Hondo. I mean, Moff Gideon really cares about empires, so again, not really there. I almost want to say Han just so that we could do like a Han Lando squad, because I think that would be super fun.
Hmm.
I I want to say Maul, but the problem is we don't have a ton of options that are like good if you're really wanting to like focus in on the rest of his list. I mean, there's some you like, or like Echo and Tech, but I don't know, that feels kind of weird.
Right.
Again, we're doing this in real time, listeners. We're doing this in real time, getting our exact thoughts. I I kind of want to go with Han so that you can get a little bit of the synergy, but then you lose out on Han and Chewie, and I think Han and
Yeah.
Chewie's interesting.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was
Um,
at too. Was like, I think Han and Chewie would be really interesting to throw into this list, simply because it'd be fun to have them somewhere, because they are an amazing piece. I mean, like as far as what they can do, the amount of movement shenanigans that they have, and just the way that they can really kind of threaten the midline right off the bat, and very quickly is something that I think is really worth looking into. But like we were saying, like you're saying, it's like, man, where do you go with your other secondary other than, like I said, like Maul is probably like your best, like to fill in the blank, because you kind of want to do other shenanigans with other units and you're just not able to do it. I don't know. Where are you landing, you think?
so my thing about Maul is I feel like the Maul list just sort of builds itself. If we're
Hmm.
if we're trying to stick to as many scoundrels as possible, you're pretty much locked into just kind of running like either Django and bounty hunters, or Wrecker and Omega and Echo and Tech, which I'm not really sold on that, because then at that point I feel like you almost want to bring Hunter, and then what are we building? Like, are we building Scoundrels, or are we building some weird crossbreed between Republic and whatever Lando's going to end up being? And I
Right.
like I don't think I like that. So the problem is that like the one list I'm thinking of that I kind of want to do is the idea Omnis was talking about earlier, and that kind of restricts me. So I guess the question is do you want to play General Solo, or do you want to play Han and Chewie in it for the money? We got to answer that question before we can pick a primary, which feels weird.
Yeah, I think for this particular list, we're probably going to have to go with General Solo for like what we're kind of trying to do, and go with a lot of the synergies, which really kind of hurts me because I do really want. I would have liked to see what we could do with the Han and Chewie in it for the money, to have them in there. Like I said, you'd probably be, to be fair, if I was going to be doing that, if I was going to be leaning into them, I probably would be going with Cad Bane. In some way, because I think you could probably do some fun stuff there. Well, not really, because his era restriction really sucks.
I you know what, AMG, because I know you listen to every word coming from our mouths. I would just kill for them to do some more of this era rearranging. Like, it's a very mild change, and I appreciate that they're doing it slowly, and that they did just go, here's 20 era changes, figure it out all, guys. Like
Yeah.
I am not trying to tell you to do a whole bunch, but CAD feels like another one. Like, he could go all the way to New Republic. You could just have a cad. Like, I'm sorry that his character doesn't. Sorry, the sorry, CAD fans, but his character doesn't change that much. He's a cool bounty hunter and he does cool bounty hunter things. Like,
Yeah,
what more do you
I mean,
need from the guy?
and we do see him in the or no, it wasn't Mandalorian. It was the Book of Fett.
Uh,
I mean, so he does show up in those in the same eras as Mandalorian. So, I mean, we know he's there, but I mean, you never know. They might have other plans to bring a second Cad Bane or something like that. So there might be
I,
other reasons.
I will say the one thing about bringing General Solo with Lando is that if you then give Lando the Rebel Alliance tag and then he can pass out the Rebel Alliance tag, you then get to use Han's "then we'll do it real quiet" like
Yeah.
ability on just about everyone, and I feel like that's a good. I feel like that's a good extra synergy, like, and it unlocks more of Han's kit, and I feel like Han's gonna need the movement, so like we're gonna. I feel like it's a good start. It's a good
Okay.
start. Is this going to be the most competitive? This is just a thought experiment. Come on. Did we practice any of this? No. We're doing it right now in real time. Buckle
Exactly.
up.
Exactly. So yeah, no, I like that. So so we're gonna go with Han. We're gonna go with Lando. Both 8 point cost characters. So that means basically we kind of have a little bit more freedom there to play around with. Um. So then, like looking at secondaries, then I mean, there's a lot of different options. We don't have because of the eras that we are playing in here because both of them are just oh gosh, what is that era? Why am I drawing a blank?
Age of Rebellion.
No, Galactic Civil War era.
Oh,
They're both
Galactic Civil War. Which one's Age? Oh, is Age of a Rebellion the one before? I always get them mixed up. Whatever. Moving on.
so they're both Galactic Civil War era. So that kind of typecasts us into only playing Galactic Civil War era models, which is fine. I mean, we can play around with it a little bit and see what happens. So looking at secondaries, I mean, there's still because of the bounty hunter box, there is quite a bit there. You have Boba Fett, you still have Chewie, you have Ezra, you have Callus, you have Lobot, you have IG-88, you have Bosch, Boosh, Leia. You have Grief Karga, and then you also have Bosk and Dengar. So there is a lot of options here at that spot. Um, I don't know. Like, what are you thinking here? I mean, there's like I said, a lot of cool options. First thing that kind of jumps out at me, I like Ezra because he's a tiebreaker. Is like the first thing that kind of jumps out at me.
So I will say Ezra was an early pick for me because what I liked to do with Ezra sometimes is actually before we're able to do oops all Mandos, like early day of Mandos. Like if I was doing like a Kanan Mando pairing, a lot of times because Ezra's like jump off of a Jedi primary, like it didn't or not Jedi force user, it wouldn't happen very often. So I liked putting him over with Mando because it just kind of it made things really awkward for your opponent because Mando is really hard to get off a point, and Ezra has the tie breaking thing, and so like I don't actually remember. Maybe I think I was playing Bounty Hunters with them too, and so like
Mhm.
that was a lot of fun during like the early days of Mando when we were trying different things. So I mean that's a good early pick. I mean, it definitely gives us some more rebel synergy if we're kind of going down the rebel route. The only thing is that like there's I feel like there's one secondary that we absolutely need to bring just for the fun of it, to just to hurt you a little bit more. But uh Agent Callus also has a lot of reroll potential
Yeah.
if we bring Lando, and he's giving everybody Rebel Alliance, and then like you can even use Payday to do some weird stuff, like give him the what is it, the best spin tag. But I don't know if that's too cute.
Oh, I don't think so. I mean, like he was definitely up there as well with like in things that I was looking at because you give him double agent at the start, he's going to have Rebel Alliance and Scoundrels. You already have General Solo cuz with the Rebel Alliance. I don't think that's that far fetched to bring Callus in all honesty. I think he's a pretty good fit here to take a look and see what we can do. I know kind of jumping ahead, we are going to be kind of tight on our supports because there's really only 3 support units that we're able to take. So I think we really have to make the most of what we have at our supports, because it's going to be interesting when we get to our supporting unit. So I think our secondaries are going to really have to be worthwhile here and making the most out of this particular spot.
Yeah, I was already looking at that, and it's really rough. I mean, the problem is that because of what we're picking so far, we're kind of locked into like Wingguard has to come,
Almost, yeah.
right?
And
Right?
yeah, unless
And
unless you decide to go with Bosk or Grief Karga. And to be fair, I think Bosk would be fun. To like, in all honesty, I think he'd be kind of fun. He has payday. The explosive ordnance might be pretty fun. He does regenerate, so he's like, if he doesn't have if he doesn't have strain, he can remove all of this damage and conditions from himself. So I mean, there's a lot of cool things that you can do with Bosk, and I think he'd kind of be a fun thing, a piece to play with, um, as well, just to kind of give him some time on the table. So I don't know. There is that piece, a part of it too.
the thing is though, if you bring Bosk, like what are you bringing with Bosk? Are you bringing IG-11? Because like now we're kind of locked into the Galactic Civil War era
Hmm.
on both of them, and
No
that
matter what we
really,
are, yeah, no matter what we are, because
yeah.
both.
So then, like that basically only gives us the options of Wingguard, Bounty Hunters, and IG-11.
Mhm.
That's
We were going to be there anyway. That's the one thing I would say, is because if you look at the 2 supports, that's all that Solo and that's all, or I'm sorry, the primaries, that's all that Solo and that's all that Lando are. They're both just Galactic Civil War only.
that's not that's not a lot of options. Is
Right.
this why nobody has done this? This is why nobody
Probably.
has done this. Okay, all right. Well, because then it's kind of like, do I really want Han? Because now I'm like, all right, we got to steal Omnis's thunder, because he was talking about a Lando, Bosk, Han, and Chewie list that sounds really spicy. But I don't know how we do that without giving up Han. All right, let's stick to. What do you think? Are we sticking with Han or no?
Well, that, again, that's kind of where I was at with that. Is like, it's interesting. I think we just kind of keep on going down this road since we've already been going down it. I mean, we're already 10 minutes down this path. Let's like just keep on punching ourselves in the face with it.
Oh, the sunken cost fallacy.
Yeah.
Excellent, Todd. The sunken cost fallacy. Let's do this. All right. So I mean, I guess there are people out there who must be like, but I want to play a General Solo and Lando list, and I want them all to be scoundrels. So, I mean, what about your favorite unit, Lobot Computer Liaison Officer? I mean, he has such an exciting name. Don't you? Didn't when you were a little kid and you had the Lobot action figure? Didn't you want to grow up to be the computer liaison officer?
I'm surprised I still enjoy Star Wars because that was an action figure that I had. But yes,
I mean, Todd, I kind of feel like our jobs are sort of the computer liaison officer. We
yeah,
are
very
we
much
are
so.
kind of helping other people navigate computers a lot of the time. Sometimes
Yes,
it's our coworkers.
yes.
Uh, so I mean, like there is I mean, I know it's kind of boring, but we could just run the Lando box, Lobot and Wingard, Lobot and Wingards. That's not an exciting answer though.
It's not, but I mean, I think that's like definitely a path that you could go. I mean, you are getting quite a bit of Scoundrel synergy with Lobot. I mean, so I think that like it does make sense to bring him in a lot of ways. So yeah, I mean, I can see that. I mean, we can see bringing Lobot. I mean, it is. So are we looking at Lobot Callus, not Chewie or any of the bounty hunters?
I mean, so the thing is that I do like a lot of the bounty hunters. Like I is there a world where we have the bestest frenemies and it's like Han and Boba Fett, like, I mean, Boba Fett's pretty good, and you can give him the scoundrel tag. I mean, that's a real thing that can happen.
Oh yeah, yeah, without a doubt. I mean, I think Fett kind of makes a lot of sense here. I mean, as just lore wise alone, it seems pretty cool to bring him. I mean, just because of you're just got a lot of the people from Bespin just kind of hanging out like on that, you know. So no, I can see it. I can definitely see bringing him as well. But I like, I don't know. Those Callus rerolls always seem so fantastic. It's kind of hard to leave those behind, especially because you're bringing some other rebels too, and now you're looking at you know two rerolls because of there's two shared tags potentially.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm trying to think how good two rerolls are, because I mean, don't get me wrong, I've been the person where I'm like, all right, Rebel Commandos, you only get one reroll, but I need like one more down my tree, so we gonna roll the dice. Let's go. Um, like
I
I
don't know.
just
I
think,
think rerolls are like in my mind rerolls are very good. I mean, granted, there's I was playing Matt Booker this weekend, and it's like I was playing oh gosh, I was playing Hunter, and I rolled like three fails and he was exposed. So I go and re-roll those three fails into two fails, and an expertise, but because I already did that, I actually got more out of it. But still, I mean, sometimes you're just going to roll failures into failures, or you're going to roll, you know, something that isn't worthwhile into something that isn't worthwhile again. So it's there's something to be said about sometimes it doesn't always work out. I would say it the in my mind the rerolls are valuable enough to take him over maybe some of the other units that we're looking at.
hey, I mean, I like me some Callus, so you're not gonna hear a lot of argument from me. There is the fact of like, we are going to be with this list. We only have 5 force between Han and Lando, and I mean, I know Lando has his hedged bets shenanigans, or no, not hedged bets. The other one, what is it? Sabak shift. Like he does have some refreshing potential going on. Like, are we gonna have the force for rerolls? Because like Lobot's gonna need a force, and I mean, I well, I mean, this list doesn't have a lot to spend on. That's
Not always. I mean, sometimes
something.
I think this is like, and going back to like a lot of conversations on what you do with your force. I mean, that's kind of in the moment. There's going to be those times where yes, you want to sit there and use your force to sit there and get that. Like if you're like need to go four down your tree and you only have three successes, you know, it's like the rerolls are probably going to get me there if I reroll, and it's worthwhile to spend that force to get that extra momentum for knocking somebody out, you know, type of a thing. So I think having rerolls, having that in your toolbox things that you can potentially do throughout the game is worthwhile. I mean, even if it is going to cost you a force to do so.
All right, all right. So last parameter before I concede to Callus, we do have the lockdown on Lobot, and then if you add Ezra in, we now have even more shenanigans with the tiebreaker. What is it? Tiebreaker and detain. Is it detain on Lobot? I think, or no? Oh, lockdown. Detain is his other ability.
Hmm.
So, I mean, how controlling do you want or how slippery do you want our scoundrels to be versus how tanky they are? Or is it tanky? Shooty.
Yeah, and I think
I'm using very official terms here.
you are very official. I don't know. I mean, maybe it is the better way to go is the slippery piece of it, where we're looking at, you know, going with Ezra for that tiebreaker and being able to just have that little bit more movement. It's a tough question to ask, but I think this is kind of, you know, build to taste type of a thing.
Yeah, I mean, either way, you're getting a rebel unit for to unlock Han's kit. I mean, I would say that Ezra is a little more squishy than Callus is. Not that Callus doesn't, like, Callus just gets a target on his head, because first time your opponent sees you re-roll 3 fails into like a crit and 2 hits, they are gunning for Callus with a fierce passion.
Yeah.
So I mean, his little bit of his little bit of what is it better? I think he has like slightly better expertise and slightly oh, he's got one more stamina, one more stamina. So I mean, I'm game either way. Todd, roll the dice. What are we doing? We're shifting the sabak values around. Is it Callus or is it Ezra?
I say we go with Callus. I mean, I was leaning towards him to begin with. I mean, is really the truth of it all. I wanted to give you the opportunity to talk about Ezra because I thought you might be leaning that way. But yeah, I think it's Callus is really kind of the way to go in my opinion. He just kind of outweighs it. I think the tiebreaker gives me some thought to it, but like I enjoy rerolls a little bit more than that tiebreaker. I think.
Okay, so I will say this. I was saving this for once you made your final call. But is this because we're going to LVO and we got Lando in here, so you're feeling a little dice happy and you're like, just
Yeah,
one more roll, just one
just
more roll.
just playing craps, man. Like if you can't find me when I'm trying to when you need a judge call, look at the craps table. You'll probably find me there.
The worst part is, listeners, is from what I understand, he does pretty well at those tables, and it's like, come on, come on. I'm over here. I'm like, my luck is negative. Like doesn't matter. Blackjack, craps, the roulette. No, no, don't keep me away from the tables. No. Todd has all my luck.
But no, I definitely I think Callus, like I said, Callus is probably the way to go. So we're looking at Callus and Lobot as our support or secondary units. What do you think? So now, like I said, we're pretty limited here when it comes to the supports that we have because we can't play Han and Chewie because we have Han as a primary. We can't play Lando and R2 because we have Lando. Um, since we have Lobot, we really are locked into having to go with the Wingard. Oh, and by the way, since we're running a 4 point cost secondary, we can't run IG-88, so we have bounty hunters.
Hey, look!
We've
Aren't we
made
so
it.
big brain? Oh, look! Wingard goes with Lobot and Lando. Oh well, I mean, we could get spicy, but I think you want to keep like, I think Han and Callus go well together on like that side of the board because that's like your more killy squad,
Mhm.
whereas the Lando side is more of the move people onto points, use security network, and like your techie side. So I mean, I think it really is just Lando Box and then Han Callus and bounty hunters. I mean, I will say what I do like about Callus is you actually do get more rolls than I thought because I forgot all of Lando's box does have that what do you call it, the Bespin tag. So
Mhm.
you actually are getting, like, I have to retract my previous statement like as I'm doing it in real time because that Bespin tag, like, I know it's weird, you have to like give um oh wait, no, that doesn't work because you'd have to give Bespin to Callus and then you can't give Rebel Alliance. Oh,
Yeah,
okay, that's not as
it's
good as I
not
thought.
no.
Oh, that's weird. Oh, never mind. I thought I had something there. Never mind.
Almost.
Never
You were
mind.
so close.
Ah.
But
Ah,
yeah, I
man.
mean, since we were able to kind of fly through that pretty easy, and there wasn't a lot of conversation, if you were to take out Han Solo and you wanted to sit there and run a Bosk and Han Chewie, what primary would you be, or what primary would you be putting in place of that instead?
Ooh. But we're keeping. Well, are we keeping the
So
Lando
you're
box?
gonna let's say we keep the Lando box.
Okay, and then we're
Just
doing Bosk and Han and Chewie with the Lando box. All right. Well,
yeah,
it still has to be. It still has to be a Galactic Civil War
it does. So
primary, which,
so
huh?
in a situation like that, I would say you might want to just go with Mandalorian.
Yeah, I mean, Mando is the safe answer because I mean he's just a solid primary. Like, you could put
Mhm.
Mando with in so many places and he just does work. So I mean, yes, that's the easy answer.
So it would, your options basically, because of the era restriction, are Mando, Kanan, or Moff Gideon.
Right, right. That's why. Like, I'm trying to think. Like, the problem is that Kanan really works with Rebel Alliance, and if you're
Mhm.
now bringing, well, I mean, Lando can give out the Rebel Alliance tag. I mean, I think it would be spicy. Like, if we were really good to test this list out, like, I would want to run at least like one game with Kanan just to see if like Lando giving out the Rebel Alliance tag and Kanan only having access to half his kit most of the time really works. My suspicion is it doesn't work that well,
Yeah,
but I mean, it's got to be better than Moff Gideon because I mean, Moff Gideon cares about Galactic Empire, everything. Now, I'm not saying Lando and Moff Gideon can't play together, but that's a whole different pond all the way over there. We're not jumping in that one. Uh, so I mean, it's probably just Mando.
I think
Like
so.
that's not an exciting answer though, Todd. That doesn't.
It's not. Okay, so let's go this way. Let's say we take Lando with Han, Chewie, and Bosk, which is a really cool list. Then kind of opens it up to what would you pair with that?
Lando Han, Chewie, Bosk, and now we don't have Lando Bosk or I mean Lando Bosk at all. So, well, I mean, I at that point, I mean, I think it might be fun to throw this all out the window and go with like Maul and like Maul Django what bounty hunters is that the option still? I
Yeah,
think
bounty
that's
hunters
still
are
the option.
bounty hunters would be an option there, and I think that'd be like
Yeah.
that's kind of where I would lean to. I like the Hondo box is just so awful bad. It really is. I mean,
Like
Hondo has
Hondo's good, but like you don't really want to play the other two unit. Like, sorry, Hondo lovers, but his Weequay pirates and Guarm are like,
not that great, exactly. So then you're looking at, yeah. So I think that's kind of like your best pairing. I mean, is Maul in that case. I think you're looking at definitely Django is would be a fun one to bring there. You're typecast a little bit because of eras again. There's not a lot of options to bring, so that's where I think you're really kind of leaning into that Django and bounty hunters with him if you're going for this oops all scoundrels type of a thing.
it's just I like so what I do like about that, even though it's more of a what would we call it in Magic, like a good stuff list, like
Hmm.
the scoundrel synergy itself is lowered, but like with Han and Chewie and Maul, you're gonna be giving out more exposed conditions. Like I just feel like you can maneuver events to make that happen. You're gonna have access to more force because I mean, yes, starting you are starting with only 5 force, but Maul, of course, doesn't need any. And then Han and Chewie lean into that, like because you're going to be a little bit more of a killy list, I feel, with this one. And so you have Han and Chewie who also refresh a force, and then there's um like Lando's force refresh. I know it's like not necessarily a you can count on Lando all the time. But and then and then like Django gives you some four. So I feel like there might actually be something there. I know we're not really leaning hard into the scoundrel synergy with this version, but this seems like it would be fun. Which
Oh yeah,
which again, thank you, Omnis, because you're the one who gave me the idea of Lando, Bosk, and Han and Chewie. So you know,
yeah, and I think I mean and Maul's always good in my opinion. I mean, so and Django he's not seeing the table as much as new stuff has come out, but he's still good. Django still does a lot of great things, so Django's still good. And like I said, I think if most people have listened, if you've listened to a couple of episodes, I love the bounty hunters. They do a lot. I mean, on the trail, being able to move them and then being able to move again, or just focus and then do the tools of the trade. They can be very impactful and roll a lot of dice or do a lot of movement if like you need them to. So I'm a very big proponent of them. So yeah, I would throw that on the table in a heartbeat and have
Yeah, no,
and probably have fun.
I think if you're going to like just a casual game like the Wednesday night meetups that we were talking about earlier, like I think this would be a lot of fun. I It's kind of a little all over the place. We did just recommend like how many boxes would you have to buy to get this? Like you need the corset and the Cad Bane box and the Charming Leia box and the Lando box and the wait, like now I'm losing. What other boxes do we need?
You need the Lando box. Yeah,
Yep,
so
yep.
you need a bot. Oh, and the Dooku box because of Django. So yeah.
Oh, jeez, the Dooku box. Like this is like I kind of understand the other game systems of like you just buying an individual bottle because we just Frankenstein what I think would be a very fun scoundrelly list, but it's definitely not fun for your wallet.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, if you're looking to just jump into the game, this is not like, hey, go buy 5 boxes in the core box and then you can play this list. No, that's not what we're saying at all. Like, yeah. So I
Yeah.
think if you were to go with kind of where we were originally, was just the Lando box with like Han Solo, then yeah, maybe that's probably a little bit more affordable. But I think if you're looking for something fun and you have all of these pieces, that's definitely pretty cool. Okay, so let's say we're going with the Han, or with the Lando, Bosk, Han Chewie, and then the Maul, Django, Bounty Hunters. What I already have one in my mind of what I think I would be bringing for this, but what mission pack do you think you would be bringing for this one?
Ooh, okay. So that one, ooh, okay. So I mean, it's a pretty mobile list because I mean, you have Lookouties loose, you have the reposition. What is it? Boring conversation anyway. I mean, you can move around quite a bit with. I mean, we know Maul. Maul can get wherever you need Maul to be. Same with Django. I mean, I haven't played with Lando, but I mean, he does have his extra dash. I I mean, you know what? I'm just gonna say this because this is a scoundrel list. I want to bring Never Tell Me the Odds. I wanna roll some. I wanna roll some more dice. I want to try and get some extra momentum, and I think this list could get away with the amount of movement that you need to do. I don't know if that's correct, but I'm feeling spicy. We did just record Rogue Support. The hot take. Never Tell Me the Odds.
Okay. I don't know if I would have gone that way. There is some movement there. Um, uh, so and you do have, because you're bringing Maul, you will probably have a little bit of force to sit there and pay for the challenging the odds when if you do
Yeah.
end up wounding. So I think there is something there, and it's worth testing. I'm like, lately I've really been enjoying playing shifting priorities. I probably would have just bringing that one. I think that's been kind of my default playing quite a bit lately. But no, I think, you know what, I wouldn't mind throwing this one together for a Wednesday night game and bringing Never Tell Me the Odds and giving it a run.
Well, yeah, and you know what? Here's another thing. I'm in a challenging mood. Rogue Sport Crew's rubbing off on me. Go back and play some more Shifting Priorities, listeners. Dear listeners, try out that. I know we all got tired of it at first because it was the only mission pack we had for some time. But some of the most fun games I've had recently. Well, okay, not recently because I haven't had a lot of time to play games, but in the past few months have been on shifting. Just shifting. You don't have to remember what your Shatterpoint bonus ability is. You don't have to remember which units are challenging the odds. You just got the priority token that's going to land on the same objective over and over and over in struggles 2 and 3. That's the only thing
Exactly.
that's going to bother you.
Exactly. So yeah, no, I mean, I think that'd be a fun list to play. So I don't know. But yeah, I think that would be where I would end up going, is the Maul and Lando list. I think that'd be a fun one to play. And well, so I don't know. Do you have any closing thoughts for this one, Aubrey?
No, just I like that we're at a point where even these kind of off the wall lists, like we just did this as a thought experiment. We were talking about what we wanted to talk about today, and this is where we landed on. And I like that we can reasonably put together a list that has some decent displacement. Yeah, I know we're leaning on mall pretty hard there, but I mean it's got decent displacement, decent shoves. It's kind of, it can kind of hit hard a little bit when you need to. It's got enough force to do what you need it to do. Like this is fun. We were talking on. Well, I mean, Sarah Cruel was leading this charge. We were talking about this on Rogue Support of go back and look at the older models, even Empire, which now has older models, which I
Right.
think is a funny statement. But yeah, that's where we're at. Like if you have been playing Shatterpoint for a while, it is the holidays. There aren't a lot of events, which by the way, sidebar, I wasn't going to say this earlier, but you know what, I'm going to say it. In the library, we cancel most of our events in December because you know what, people just do other things. So if you're a TO out there and you're worried about your attendance during this time, we don't take like a full break. We usually try to do stuff like at least the first or maybe the second week of December, but our attendance peters off. Do not feel bad about that. This is December. There's too much going on in December. But
Yeah.
anyway, like December, like, yeah, I know some people are already like, but I got to test for LVO. LVO is going to be here any moment. Okay. Go play a fun game and go pull out some of the models that are maybe sitting in a glass case or sitting on a shelf or sitting in your case or sitting in a box, or maybe they're still in the box because you haven't assembled them yet. uh Go grab them and give them a spin. Have some fun. Just go have a fun game. Remember, it's a game, and this is a time where, yeah, we might always want to like be trying the new next best thing, but give your brain a break. Go play Maul. Go play Maul again. He's fun. He's super fun. This is the guy with the Jedi Knights hat telling you go play Maul because that's how much fun he is.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Well, yeah, I think that kind of closes us out. I guess I will finish up by always what I do and say thanks everyone for listening. We do appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in and listening to us. If you want to support the podcast, you can always do so by joining our Patreon for as little as $1 a month. We do appreciate all of our patrons and all of the support that they do end up giving us. The link to Patreon will be in the link to in the description below. If you don't want to do that and that's not for you, I definitely understand that. But if you want to continue to support us, even if you are not going to do that, go ahead and rate, review us on whatever podcast platform you're listening to us on. Or if you're watching us on YouTube, like, subscribe, and hit that bell so that you can get notified anytime we do upload any new content. But other than that, like I said before, I do appreciate each and every one of you for listening. And as always, may the force be with you.
May the force be with you.